everyone, and once again a warm welcome back to the DrMBalmer channel. So today I'm actually in the garage because we're doing something a bit different. And what we're doing is we're actually having a look at a car accessory device, which we haven't really done before on this channel, so this will be a first. And this caught my eye on AliExpress because it's a battery monitor. It's a wireless device with a display with solar charging that connects to your car battery, or it actually also should work with motorcycle battery, car and truck and yacht. And it wirelessly sends information to this heads-up display device, which is placed in your car. And this is the Ancel BM200 PRO device. There is a version which you can connect to your phone, but I chose this one because I don't want to use my phone every time. I'm more happy using dedicated display. So on the side here we can see no installation required for display unit. It's using 433 MHz wireless transmission, automatic power on and off, so it detects when there's a slight vibration when you open the car door, for instance, or start the engine. Protection of short circuit and reverse connection. AI algorithm: the longer the connection time, the more accurate the result. So it will sort of learn your battery, I suppose, to display the health and stuff like that. So applicable battery: all 12 volt lead acid batteries. Input voltage 6 to 25 volts. Working temperature -40 to +80 degrees Celsius. 2.3 milliamps average. During use, I suppose, because it should turn off after a little while when you have parked your vehicle. There's a backlight, 9 LEDs. There is a lithium battery with 700 milliamp hours claimed. There's a solar panel and Type-C port, so you can charge it if there isn't enough sunlight, or if you're parked in a garage where there is no sunlight for a long period of time. Monochrome LCD with backlight. Yeah. So this is we have something more here. So real-time display: health, temperature, power and voltage. Power, I'm not sure, but like in watts. I don't think it will show the watts, but it should show the cranking amps, I believe, or cranking voltage at least. Automatically test the starting and charging system of the vehicle. Automatic alarm when data is abnormal. Powered by solar panel. So let's open it up and have a look inside, shall we? So I'm working on my father's car hood here. And it's his vehicle we shall install this into. So this is what the unit looks like. It's a fairly large display. It has some solar panels. Some feet. There's some plastic protection film. 3 buttons: power on, I think. Sun maybe. And play button. We'll see what that does later. I believe this sun may actually be backlight. Backlight setting, turn on and off, and then this maybe silences alarms or something, or changes temperature, I think, maybe from Fahrenheit and Celsius and stuff like that. So let's put it aside there and have a closer look inside. Yes, so this is the main unit, which simply connects to your negative and positive battery terminals. And it also should show state of health. From replace, red, yellow, and then greens to good. If you open your hood, you can see. And then cranking system, charging system, low charge, and temperature. Okay, so I believe it measures your temperatures as well, as it sits on top of the battery. We'll get a sticky pad to mount on top of the battery. We'll get a charging lead, and it's actually USB-C, so that's pretty nice. And finally we also have a manual of sorts. It does come in 2 languages. There's actually some English instructions. Yes, red to the positive, black to negative, not reverse. Although we should have reverse polarity protection. Display has a built-in lithium battery, but use a 5-volt charger that meets safety standards for charging. Main function: real-time display of battery health, temperature, power and voltage. Automatically test the starting and charging systems of the vehicle. Built-in alarm function. An alarm tone will be emitted for abnormal temperature, low battery, low voltage, starting system failure and charging system failure. Display is powered by lithium battery and solar panel, no cables and no installation required. Type-C, fast charging is available when the battery is low. Power and charging by solar panel make the device not require frequent charging. Adopts stable 433 MHz wireless transmission technology. Built-in vibration sensor. So the device will automatically turn on when the vehicle is slightly moved, and will automatically turn off after a long period of stationary. Built-in fuse and reverse connection protection. Professional algorithm: the longer connection time, the more accurate result. So replace battery, low battery, good battery indicators. Cranking system error. Charging system error. Low charge. Temperature high or low. And then the double-sided tape, but I believe that, yeah, I have no tape mounted here. I believe we should be using this pad instead. So yeah, now we have a solar panel, Type-C port, on-off key, LCD display, a unit switch key, backlight setting key, yeah. And then have the specifications again. So that's, yeah, and here we can see how we should mount it. So we place it on top of the battery, and then we connect the 2 wires. Yes. Just place the device in front of the windshield. Battery state of health, low to high. If LED 1 is turned on, indicating the battery has reached disposal standard, please replace the battery. Poor battery, LED 2, LED 3 to 5, battery is good health. Will not light up when the device is installed the first time, until the car engine starts once or the device works over 1 hour. Yes. So it has to be connected for 48 hours to show accurate results. Intelligent learning algorithm, longer connection time is good. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And yes, we should see that we have connection. State of health shows 1 cell indicating the battery has reached the disposal standard, please replace. 2 cells indicating poor battery life, 3 to 5 good battery life, 5 cells the best, 3 cells are next best. Switch backlight mode, auto mode default, I'm going to turn on the backlight on and off according to the brightness of the ambient light. Power saving mode, turn off the backlight. Okay, that's pretty neat. I suppose it's controlling that through the solar panel, if it's charging or not, to decide if it's bright enough. Press the key to force power on and off. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so let's put this to charge. And I realize I have a micro USB cable. I should use the supplied lead. One moment. Yes, the supplied lead is unfortunately very short, but let me connect it to the port here, like that, and let's turn power outlet on, and we get a bit of display here. Yes, state of health, everything is zeroed out, but we can see that we are charging up here. So we can let it charge while we, let's see, maybe I can, if I press the light button here, yes, we turn off the backlight. Yeah, it can sit here and charge for a while. Let's see what the current is like. So let me just zoom in a little bit. 0.38 amps. So yeah, that's fine for a 750 milliamp hour battery. I don't know how discharged it is, but we'll let it sit there for a while and charge. Alright, some time has passed and I have been charging this, and it has, let me zoom in a bit. It says 0.25 amps and 738 milliamp hours. So it should be pretty much fully charged, and I guess it was almost flat, the battery inside the unit itself here. So it's claimed to be 750 milliamp hours, and it might just be that it is. And here I have the battery on my father's car, and there is a bit of a problem here. So this main unit that connects to the battery, it wants to have it has these terminals, and basically over here I do have a bolt that I can loosen. You can zoom in a bit. Oops, sorry, that wasn't the correct setting. Oops, sorry. Yes, I have a bolt over here that I can loosen up and connect the negative terminal to it and fasten it. But as far as the positive terminal goes, let's have a closer look at that one. As you can see, it's a bit of an automatic thing here, which just clamps around the actual terminal here. So I don't have a bolt like that to play around with, which makes it a bit inconvenient, at least, to make this work. But let's give it a go anyway. We can at least try to fasten the terminal, and well, we can start off with the positive one, the anode, to see if we can get it to sit there somehow. So this would go something like this, and then connect it to, yeah. So let me just put it in the bags for now for isolation purposes, because I'm pretty sure I will manage with that one. But this one is a bit harder, so maybe I can just squeeze it in there somehow. So when this mechanism opens and closes, it expands and contracts around the terminal. Maybe if I can squish it in there, we can make sure it sits there well enough. So let's give that a try, shall we? So if I place this on here, let's see if I can get this in there somehow. Will that work? It doesn't sit too well. So let me just have a better look. Yes, so maybe if I squeeze it like this, it actually sits there pretty tightly. So maybe that would be possible. Do it like that. It sits there pretty nicely. But this should be attached later on in that case, once we have a cap on. So I will disconnect it and we will attach the negative terminal first then, because I will have to attach a cap on. Okay, so just 1 second here, let's open this up again. And since this one has a cap that should go over the battery itself, I won't see the indicator lights once I place the cap on it. So let me bring that cap here. Yeah, it looks like this, and it should go over the battery. And then we do have a hole here, but I'm not too confident that these leads are pretty short, so maybe they won't they won't reach then, maybe all the way around the plastic cap. But I think that in this case all the information here should be presented on the display itself. So maybe this could sit under the cap. In that case, problem solved. So yeah, let's go for that maybe. So I will need to undo. Let's see here. This one's too small. I should get a proper key. One moment. So I removed the positive terminal again and found a proper key. In my case it was a number 10. So simply undo the negative terminal, just enough. Yes, to be able to push the negative terminal onto that. So it will sit something like this maybe, and I shall put something insulating on the positive then, not to short circuit anything. Hang on. So I just put it in some piece of plastic here. Hopefully it will stay there for a little while. And also I should clean this up a little bit with some alcohol. Yes, so I have a little bit of tissue here. I shall just spray a little bit of alcohol of some sort and just clean the area where I want to maybe fasten the so I'm thinking about fastening this. Yeah, maybe I have to shape it a bit. Sorry if my hand is in the way now. It definitely is. Yeah, so this car is giving me a hard time. Right, so I got a third helping hand from my father here, and it seems that we got it in place, the negative terminal. Now we should use this pad to fasten the device onto the battery itself. So I have used some rubbing alcohol, and we shall fasten it here somewhere, I think. So let's go ahead. And hopefully it isn't thick enough to interfere with the battery cap itself once we try to put it on. So we shall try and see. All right. Getting some cables out of the way. And we shall try to put this on. It's a bit of a hassle, but hopefully we should manage. This one has to come out of here, and then this one should be something like that. Right, so let's attempt to actually connect this thing to the anode. And first of all, I shall open this clamp as much as possible and attach it to the positive battery terminal. A bit of smoke. Let's see if this sits tightly enough. This, and then I shall grab this one. Let's see if I can get it inside. Yeah, so this is pretty tight, it won't go anywhere, I think. Can zoom in a bit. Yeah, so it's clamping it around the terminal, and of course this will be a bit of a problem, maybe. Let's see. I think, yeah, it's maybe. So I managed to attach it a little bit better, I think, at an angle, and it shouldn't be going anywhere. So in this way we can actually close the lid better. Alright, let's have a look at the display itself and see if it's showing anything. Alright, and we're back. I have brought in the display itself, and it should be pretty visible. Yeah. So what information do we actually see here? Well, first of all, we get a measurement of a state of health, which it says it's 100%, and it should be pretty accurate because this battery is actually new from maybe a month ago. We also have a battery indicator at the very top. I don't know if it's visible. That's the battery indicator of this display device itself, and it should be showing once it's charging from the solar cell. We have a temperature measurement. It's showing 20°C currently, and we can also change that to show Fahrenheit if we want to by using the buttons beneath. I believe, let's see if we can get some light. If we press the play button here, we will get, yeah, now we see Fahrenheit here, 68. And we can also see the current battery voltage, which is 12.69 volts, which is pretty good. The SOC is the state of charge, and that's 97% charged. And at the bottom it says 0.00 volts, and that's because we haven't actually fired up the engine yet. But once we do, it should show the cranking voltage and warn if it's too low. But other than that, it's actually pretty much it. If I turn off this light, we can also try the backlight feature. So there is a backlight feature button here. and it turns on the backlighting. This will of course draw more power from the device itself, but if it sits in your windshield and there's a sunny day, then maybe that should be fine. And we can turn it off again. Alright, so next step is to actually install it in the car, in the windshield, and fire it up and see what kind of cranking voltage we get. So stay tuned. Alright, but before we go and crank it up, let's actually see what the measurement is like, the precision of it. So currently, I can zoom in a bit. It says 12.70 or 12.69 volts. And let's measure with a multimeter. We shall put it to DC volts. 20 should be plenty, since we should have about 12.7. And I will make sure my hand is not in the way, but this one is not visible. Yeah, okay. Yeah, 12.74, and the Ancel meter is showing 12.70 or 0.69. So it's about 40 to 50 millivolt difference, which is pretty good, I think. So yeah, just good to check. Alright, but now we can crank the engine and see what it shows. Alright, so it's pretty dark here actually, and the display is not very visible. But I can turn on the backlight. Now it's much better. We can see the battery indicator for this device itself, the Ancel device. And just to make sure that it charges from the solar cell, let's try to simulate solar conditions. I shall lower this down a bit and zoom in a little, and I will simulate the sun by using a device like this, and we shall turn it on. And of course the device, yes, now we can see that it's actually charging the battery inside. So that's good. Alright, but let's crank the car engine up and see what the cranking voltage will be like. Alright, so my father is helping me out. He's sitting in the car and he has turned the ignition to on, but the engine isn't on yet. So you can see that we have dropped a bit in battery voltage here, since we're drawing a bit of power. Alright, so let's fire up and see what happens. Yeah, so now the ignition key is set to the on position, and we'll try to start the engine in a second. Alright, so the car has started, and we can see that yeah, we dropped a bit in the state of health, 90%, because we got a voltage dip to 10.55 volts during cranking. So let me bring this in. Yes, cranking voltage, it says right there, 10.55 volts. And I believe that this algorithm will need a bit of more time to adjust itself into the start and stop cycles. But also we can see that we have 14.5 volts, so you can see that the generator is actually charging the battery, and we have a charging voltage of 14.6 volts. So yeah, and the state of charge will also change as we drive along. But for now we should just park the car, and later we will go for a ride. So stay tuned for just a moment. Alright, so we're in the car, and doing a voiceover here because, well, the audio quality wasn't very good when having the phone in the car and trying to speak at the same time. So, but basically, this device is pretty neat. It's showing 88% as state of health, and the alternator is working at 14.5 volts, charging the car battery. Currently the battery temperature is 20 C, and state of charge is 94%, and that should increase as we drive along. And we can see that the cranking voltage was 10.39 volts currently. But yeah, it sits behind the windshield, and we can see it's charging from the sunlight. And as long as it keeps doing that, it should be a pretty neat little device. And we should get some alarms if anything goes wrong or needs to be checked with the cranking or charging system. So it's pretty nice. So let's have a closer look when things are not moving about. So I have a still image here showing the device during one of my test drives with my father's car. So as we can see, there are a couple of things that I'm interested in. First of all, there is the temperature indicator showing 43 degrees centigrade, which is pretty high, I think. Maybe that's because the battery has a cap on it, a plastic cap, which traps the heat from nearby, well, the battery itself and maybe the engine. But anyway, the thing I wanted to most of all have a little chat about or discussion is that, or maybe it's more of a monologue, but we can see there is a warning at the top. It's saying charging and an exclamation mark. So that one appeared during driving, and we can see that it coincided pretty much with the battery becoming fully charged, so the SOC is 100%. And what I also noticed was that since this car has a start-stop technology, it will turn the engine off and on. And well, as it happens, it sort of lit the charging warning pretty much at the same time that at one of the start-stop cycles. But also, I think the reason might be not only the start-stop, but more specifically the fact that the battery is fully charged, because previously we had a charging voltage of over 14 volts when the battery wasn't fully charged. So we had 14.5, 14.6 something volts during just driving the car, and the state of charge was 94% or so, or 96. And now that the state of charge is 100%, the car no longer charges the battery inside at 14 something volts. Instead, it's keeping it steady at about 13.5. And yeah, that seems to trigger the charging warning. So maybe it's showing that, yeah, it's fully charged, but at the same time it does beep for a few seconds and giving off some beeping sounds, which might be a bit annoying. I haven't found a way to turn it off, but okay, so it gets your attention that the battery is fully charged, but it would have been nice to be able to turn off that warning or alarm, so I can understand that the voltage goes down, so it thinks that the alternator isn't really supplying the voltage that it expects it to do. But other than that, yeah, it's not a big deal, but it might be annoying to get a beeping sound for 10 or 15 seconds if your battery is fully charged. It seems to be connected to that. I haven't been able to 100% determine that that is the case, but might also be the start-stop stuff. But yeah, so when the voltage goes down over the battery from the alternator, then for one or another reason, it lights the charging indicator and gives you some beeping sounds for 10 or 15 seconds. So you know. Yeah, so actually I did install such a device, identical one, in my own car as well, and my car has a little bit of a worse battery. It's in worse condition. You can see that it shows 69% state of health, and the voltage is only 12.18 volts, which is not very good. And the state of charge is 61%. Last time cranking volts were 10.36 volts. So let me crank the engine and start the car up and see what it shows this time. So the car has been stationary for, well, maybe 5 or 6 days. So let's fire it up. So the key is in the on position now. We can see the voltage dropping far below 12 volts. And now let's crank the engine. So the car has started and the cranking volt value has updated to 10.02. So yeah. The car started, but it's not in a very good condition, this battery. You can see also that we're charging now as the alternator is upping the voltage. Alright, so yeah, this is what it looks like when there's a worse battery. And actually I did get a warning. There was a warning here previously, a few days ago. Cranking system, it said at the top here. Unfortunately I didn't get it on video, but yeah. It did warn that the battery was bad, and the next time it didn't warn me again now. So okay, but that's about it for now. I actually managed to get a shot of when I got the charging warning from the device at another day. So I was leaving my garage, and when I fired the engine up, or started the engine, I got the cranking warning. So the car was not very fast at starting, so it was cranking a bit for some prolonged time with this battery, and indeed I did get a warning. So let me zoom in a little bit first and have a closer look. Alright, so we can see a bit more clearer on this image when we're zoomed in the cranking warning that appears. So at each warning it also beeps a bit. I haven't managed to record the beeping sound, unfortunately, but it does beep for about 10 seconds or 15 maybe. And we can also see there is a little arrow pointing down at the right of the battery voltage. So I suppose it's showing that the trend of the battery voltage is going down with time. So yeah, there you have the cranking voltage alarm warning. Yes, now I have driven my car about 8 or so kilometers and parked on a parking spot. So we can see that state of charge is up to 65%, and currently 13.8 volt, mainly from the alternator charging the battery. So let me turn off the engine now and see what happens. So the engine has been turned off, and yes, what happens with the voltage? Well, as expected, we're dropping at a decent rate, and since this battery is not of very good health, I assume that the voltage will be dropping. I can also see a little, arrow pointing down here. I suppose the voltage is dropping. It's maybe some trend indicator that the steady state voltage is trending downwards. Maybe, I'm not sure, but it seems like it. Also, you can see that the temperature is 30 degrees under the hood of my car, where the device sits on top of the battery. So that's pretty nice to know as well. And yeah, we're down to 12.6 volts. So also you can see that it's bright enough for it to charge this device itself from the solar panel at the top here. I'm parked in half shade, half sun, so it should be nice enough. I will be parked here for about an hour. So currently time is 11:50 a.m. No, sorry, 12:50. So in about an hour, let's see what the voltage has stabilized to. We can see that the temperature is rising now, because 31 degrees, because there is no incoming air from when driving the car. So usually while I drive around, I see that the temperature doesn't get to 30, up in the 30s. But now that we're parked, I can actually, yeah, now it's 32 degrees. So there is no air movement over the battery anymore. So the heat from the engine is probably making the temperature rise. Alright, so let's check in about an hour. So 12.52 volts currently. Alright, so just over an hour has passed, and I'm back in my car, which has been turned off and standing still on a parking lot. And yeah, 12.42 volts. So that's a bit too low for a 12 volt lead acid battery. We can see that it's 41 degrees centigrade under the hood and on top of the battery. So yeah, a bit hot. And yeah, cranking voltage 10.02 we had last time. State of charge is 65%. So let me fire up the engine and see what we get in terms of cranking volts, sorry, and stuff like that. So now that I've turned on the key to the on position, so we dropped a bit of voltage since we're drawing a bit of current, I suppose, and let's fire it up. So yeah, 10.58 cranking volts, and now the alternator is running, so 13.7 volts over the battery. Okay, great. Yeah, and another thing, so my battery is currently pretty discharged at 51% now, and then we get a little square here saying charge, so it's telling me to basically it's time to charge the battery. So yeah, that's also pretty good. So I have a pretty bad battery in this car, so it's great to see sort of charge state and that I should actually charge it. And we can see that the cranking voltage last time I started the car was only 9.82 volts. So yeah, alright. Okay, so we have reached the end of this review, and let's end by summarizing the Ancel BM200 PRO. Well, first of all, I must say it's a pretty good little device. It's plug and play, so you don't need any Bluetooth connection to your phone, and you don't need to install any apps and things like that. So you simply install it to the little device to your battery, negative and positive terminals, and then the display device connects to it automatically, and that's what was a deal breaker for me, because I didn't want to pick up some phone and start to open some apps and things, but instead I just start by get into my car, start the engine, I see the values, and I get a warning if there is any warning. And yeah, it's easy to install, probably, because on my own car it was easy because I had the nuts on the terminal cables to fasten the cable shoes. On my father's car that wasn't the case, and there was a bit of an issue with the nut that was existing on the negative terminal, so that could be a good thing to check first if you're able to install it properly, basically. I must say the device has a large display which is visible from many angles, and you have backlighting options as well, and you can either turn the backlighting off or let it be on, or let it handle it automatically based on the lighting conditions. And the battery life is pretty good inside the display device itself. I have been using this Ancel BM200 PRO for about a month now, I suppose, and yeah, I haven't had any issues with the battery being drained inside the display unit itself. It charges from the sunlight or daylight while it sits there behind the windshield, and yeah, it pretty much charges up on its own. But there is, of course, a USB-C plug if you want to charge it at home or somewhere, or in the car while you're driving. If you have a USB charger, so I mean, then you can charge it from there. Yeah, and also the battery capacity seems real. It was rated at 750 milliamp hours on the box or in the manual, and from the measurement that I did, I managed to push in about 750 milliamp hours, so that's good. So on the negative side, yeah, alarm beeps can be annoying, like I mentioned regarding the charging system, for instance, when the battery is full and the alternator does not charge the battery at over 14 volts, and it can display a warning, and there are some beeps, and I don't know if I can turn them off. I haven't managed to do that by pressing any buttons or so. There's no measurement of amps or power in watts that's being drawn from the battery, for instance. There is only one page. You can only change Celsius to Fahrenheit and back and forth, but there's no really any hysteresis. I mean, there's no other pages that record data in some memory card or built-in storage or anything. It's not like you can see how what was the battery voltage like on a curve or a graph or anything like that. For that, I believe you will have to buy the Ancel has another version of this which does connect via Bluetooth to your phone, and then it can record, I suppose, data on your phone and stuff like that, and then you probably can see some history and stuff like that. But I didn't want to have that version. It would have been good if it was included, that you could connect to your phone as well as having this display in the same device, but that doesn't seem to be the case, which is a shame. But yeah, anyway, I mean, it's a pretty nerdy device, and therefore it probably appeals to people like me, and maybe you, I suppose. It's a funny little thing, and it might actually give you some insight into how your car battery works and the health of it. And you will probably notice the differences in voltages and stuff as time goes by and the battery loses its overall health. So yeah, for the price, yes, the price. I bought it from the Ancel official store on AliExpress, and I paid about $30 equivalent. There are cheaper options. I haven't tested those from other sellers if they are genuine or not. So maybe they have saved in on the battery cell inside, or putting in a B-grade cell, or solar panel, or whatever. Maybe accuracy might be impacted or not. I can't vouch for either being the case, but I bought it from the Ancel official store, and there it cost me about $30 equivalent. And then I bought it during some AliExpress event, so I had some coupons and stuff, so it was a bit cheaper in the very end, but the price is about $30 there. Alright, so yeah, thumbs up from me for this device, and I have installed two of them now. So I have one in my car and in my father's car, and so far, I mean, both do work, and pretty good for getting some nerdy stats and stuff like that when driving, and you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, thumbs up from me for the Ancel BM200 PRO, and if you like this video, then be on the lookout for a lot more content coming up, and subscribe not to miss any of it. So thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day. Bye bye.